We actually have 10 extra minutes, so we will capitalize on the 20 minutes Q&A, and I love the Q&A. So we're also going to open up questions from the audience, but right now let's start with some questions that we have prepared ahead of time. So why not let's start with Tina. So I'm just curious, you talk about the micro moments, you're talking about a lot of opportunities. So from your observation, what is the biggest challenge to capitalize these opportunities and from your observations, and what's your suggestions on corporations or startups to make the best out of it?
Actually, I'm in Google Taiwan. I'm supporting most of the big enterprise to go beyond Taiwan to sell their product and services. And when I interact with them about the O2O strategy and also implementation, and I learn all these big company and big brand, they have so many organizations and different departments. For example, they probably already have offline business, or even they just start their online business. But that's all different departments. So somehow, if they want to capitalize the O2O opportunity, it's very difficult for them to revamp the current organization. So that's why I think that this is the really advantage for the small business and also startup to capitalize, because you have no burden. You don't have really all latency. You need to break through. So that's why I think that, because now the trend is there and consumer is there and also the customer is there. So that's why I think that this is really a good opportunity that for startup and also small business can take this advantage and move forward, be agile, and also be nimble to take these opportunities.
All right. Thank you, Tina. Anybody want to add on this point? We would like to go for freestyles. Okay. But please keep your comments under 1 minute with a lot of questions.
So to echo Tina, I think for seizing each micro moments, what's the most important is to build a reliable business and a scalable business on, no matter it's on the cloud or no matter it's in-house that you build. With all of the offerings from all these big corporations like Microsoft or Google or even Intel, there are so many free goodies for the startups to actually grab and then to make your own. There's nothing actually to lose. For example, like within Microsoft, there's a whole bunch of free cloud opportunities through BSpark program, and also you can enroll into another level. So there are just way too many technology that you have to think about, and also what are the missing gaps that you can bring in. And those gaps are the best opportunities for the traditional industry and for the startups.
I'm just curious. I actually love the presentation from Ichi, from Stefan. Although you don't sell any product or solutions, but Ichi has been the backbone of Taiwan. So just curious to know that with the O2O, does the actual small and medium-sized company have a chance? And what's your recommendations on capitalize this chance?
Quick feedback is that in the new era, the internet economy or the new economy, actually the individuals and small companies would have better chance, as we all know that big elephants do not like to dance, right? But however, having said and done, the critical element would be, as I mentioned, the information flow. What do you do with it? In the old days, when the startup gets some VC funding, that they will invest in, by the investor, that the new companies would invest in ERP, for example, to taking hold of the financial system, the accounting, etc. I would argue or advocate that in the new era, that the new startup company should invest money in these tools, but putting their focus on using the tools, not reinventing the tools, using the tools to put their domain into their competitive advantages. So what Ichi does is that we work on the tools, but we still support SMEs to build their domain knowledge by using those tools.
Thank you. Thomas from Intel, I'm just curious to know, a lot of speakers were focused on experience, were focused on service, were focused on this. But from Intel, how does Intel see all this, the big change? Or does Intel actually anticipate this a long time ago?
Yeah, I think there are many voices. As for all large organizations, there are many voices in organizations and says, hey, this is the opportunity, that's the opportunities, right? But over the years, we have crystal clear visions that IoT is going to make everything, and it's going to transform our company. That's why a lot of investment to IoT. Of course, you know us as so-called microprocessors company, and you will be wondering, what Intel can do in all these experiences is deliver to the peoples, right? The hotel services, the tablets that let you control everything. But we believe that all these things comes because you understand the environment, you understand the people's need, understand what the machine is trying to talking to you, and all those understandings actually fueled by FUEL, fueled by the microprocessors, the processing power that it has to help you to crunch data faster, make the machines understand things faster, make it so-called react faster to the need of people. So we believe that we are in the center of fueling the Internet of Things economies. And we are also very good in the server processing. So all the big data processing has to run on very powerful machines. And this is where that we are helping to translate all those analytics into something that people can understand and can make use of it. Right.
All right, great. I'm just going to go through first, ask everybody to get a chance to speak. So Marcel, I really enjoyed your presentation. So what's your thoughts on this digital developments in the hotel, in the entire industry?
Sure, thank you. Well, I think it's an opportunity, number one, of course, to improve guest services, to monitor guest behavior, and use that data to improve, again, our services. And if you do that, then you start generating more revenue. And as a business, it's all about generating revenue. There's one thing I didn't mention in my presentation too much, is the online travel agents, the hotels.com, Expedia, which have become extremely powerful in our booking systems in our business. Now, great companies, they do a fantastic job. However, for our business, they become an expense because their commissions run between 15 to 25%. So if you see a room rate of $100 online, the hotel gets maybe 75, right? And then we still have our operating costs. So you can see a very trend in the last year or so, a couple of years, that hotels are much more investing in their websites, making it faster, more efficient in order to attract more direct bookings. And also, at the end of the day, we are in control of our room inventory. We are in control of our room rates. So we can also offer a better rate than an OTA can, an online travel agent. So again, this is very much related to the subject, affecting our business. And of course, we need to react to that, like making our websites better, bookable, easier bookable, and find other ways to get people to book instead of using an online travel agent. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Marcel. So very logically, the question to you, Todd, is why did you decide to do a startup in this industry, and what are the key reasons to form the partnership with My Favorite Hotel?
How much time do I have?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. So I just want to go back to the question first about how are large companies well positioned or startups and new companies. I would say I have to pinch myself. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, it's just an idea. Now I'm sitting at the table with billion-dollar companies. Okay, Shangri-La, Google, Microsoft, Intel, and some ITRI, and a lot of great talent here. Okay, so what was your question?
You have about 10 seconds. Why this industry, and what sparks the partnership with My Favorite Hotel for the fifth time?
So I'll tell you the story. One of our founders was sitting in a hotel, and he was in bed, and he had an injured shoulder, and he couldn't move, and he tried to turn on and off the light, and he just said, well, why not do this on my smartphone, my device? And so it evolved from there. We started from an app, then we looked at the ecosystem and said, listen, apps are not high value, so we need to go deeper. And we heard from the industry, and we started talking to Marcel, and he said, listen, you need an end-to-end solution. We don't need to deal with multiple vendors. And then we start building on that, and then we start getting involved with Microsoft and Azure, and we start building in data analytics, and now we're moving on to artificial intelligence. So it's a challenge, and we're very excited about the opportunities that we're going to expose for hotels, for technology, and for new startups as well in the future.
All right, and this question is open to everybody, and we're going to open up the floor. Is Marcel, I'm just curious to know, for a big hotel chains, is there any challenges for to upsell, to bring a startup instead of the traditional, you go to a big SI company for this type of solution. So when you want to present to your corporate, hey, we're going to work with a startup, is there any challenges and how did you come about? And we want to open the floor to everybody is how do you the suggestion to the startup to move into the big corporate channels and so on?
Well, of course. I mean, if you come along with, there's an approval process naturally, and once you come along with some very established large company names, naturally people think, oh, that should be okay, right? However, in our case, we have really explained why we feel that this company is suitable for us. And it was based on the quality of the product. Also, the fact is that we, even though we are a global company, we are still. I think it's our responsibility to support local businesses, as we do in many other ways as well. So, yes, I wouldn't say there was a challenge, but it took a little bit longer time to get it through the system. But I think it's all based on what can this product do in order to improve our guest services, make the property itself more efficient, and at the end of the day, can generate more revenue out of it. So the approval process went through, and we are about to implement through the entire property. So. Thank you.
Great. So before we open to the floor, so question, comments or suggestion to the startups on how do we actually penetrate and work with big companies?
So I think it always boils down to what value you can bring to your clients, right? Whether it's big or small, right? In Intel, we also work with a lot of startups, and we're helping them to build forward their business, also because they have unique value propositions for the industry they want to target. Right. I think if you can show that unique value propositions, people will listen to you. Right.
So I'm just gonna talk a little bit more. For Microsoft, it's very interesting is to try to see what verticals that actually matches the verticals that Microsoft steps in. So then we treat all of the startups as partners, and also we have a lot of other partners in the entire ecosystem. So what we're doing is actually building the ecosystem. So what you need to do is to think of, okay, so I'm the expert of the hotel industry, I'm the expert of the gasoline industry, I'm the expert on the retail industry, and then just knock on the door at Microsoft and say that, hey, I have this idea, I built everything on the cloud that you had. Can you help me with the business? And that's basically how everything actually works. And I think Todd can actually add on to that. That's actually how everything starts.
All right. So, yeah, how do we grow and how do we introduce ourselves to markets and to customers? And one of the ways that we've been doing this, of course, has been engaging with accelerators, the government, through APEC as well. We've met a lot of interesting contacts, valuable contacts in the region. As a BizSpark member, Microsoft has been very helpful in giving us the resources for training, discounts.
More discount coming.
Yeah, but also what's important for us is their global brand recognition, and they have a global connection network to bring us into some of their current corporate customers. And so, I mean, that's a huge boost, especially for a startup that has some traction and that needs to accelerate. So please, be persistent and use every resource that you can. But also, there's some great partners here in Taiwan to assist startups.
Great. We want to hear also from Tina from Google.
I think it's no matter what kind of startup, they still need to provide value. And I think the value is that not just selling the product, selling solution, and it's also, I think, is selling expertise and also consulting service that you can really complete. So, for example, what we just shared about the hotel system. So, understanding the needs, and also because big corporation, they probably have something they are not able to do really efficiently or effectively. But that's also what startup, probably you can play some critical role to connect the dot and help them to be more strong and also help them to solve these challenges.
Stefan, would you like to add? Then we're going to open up one or two questions.
Yeah, quick echoing is that whether you are small or big, being able to convert people's needs to value creation will be important because you are small, so you have to be fast. And also business models are innovative at times, but it's also copyable. And therefore, having built some domain knowledge or some system integration in your service system would be key. Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, we don't have any more time, but we would like to give each of the speaker maybe in your own experience or expertise, maybe a few words, suggestion to the startup on how to capitalize the O2O. One sentence. What does the startup need to do to capitalize the opportunity and seize the moment? One sentence.
For capturing O2O opportunities, I would say speed and partnerships with the people who are willing to work with you and better than you are.
Great. One sentence.
Okay, my one sentence is that I'm glad that everyone understand the micro moment intent is very important, and also startup have a really limited resource. So that's why we need to really find out what's the really true intent and also fulfill the demand at that moment.
Great. Michael, one sentence.
I would say predicting the future with the data you had, and also get your first transaction. Don't go to any competition or whatever. Get your first transaction and get the business running with the technology that you had at the first moment.
Great. Thomas?
Work with us. Work with us.
Oh, work with us. Okay. All right, great.
Identify the problem and solve it, and reiterate on the solution. Iterate, iterate, iterate. Thank you.
Great.
I would say be persistent, welcome failure, because failure makes you better, and network to find partners and contacts.
Once again, let's give the speaker a big applause for the wonderful sharing. Thank you. And I turn the mic to our MC.